listening to the 300s podcast.
All right, guys, welcome back to episode 3 of the 300s podcast. How you guys doing today? Here with Rick and Kyle again.
How's it going?
Doing very well. You know, I used to hate the bye week as a kid, but now, a little bit older, a little bit wiser, gives me a little time to process and digest what should be a fantastic matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I still am not a fan of the 2-week build-up. This week, you know, at work, just kind of sitting there, like, I don't even really care because it's not on for another 13 days. But, so I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl matchup. We got the Patriots going back once again, taking on the Atlanta Falcons. You know, it's, what is this, the 7th appearance for Brady and Belichick. So that's definitely a ton of experience, none of which, you know, the Falcons and Matty Ice themselves have. So I know, Rick, you and I were talking about this Super Bowl experience. Do you think it's helpful or do you think it's meaningless?
I did, and then I did a little bit of research. Going into this Super Bowl, obviously I like the Pats. The Pats have 21 players with previous Super Bowl experience. The Falcons only have 4. But there was an interesting article in the Wall Street Journal on Friday. It was Michael Salfino, and he said in the last 40 Super Bowls, a team that held this advantage over its opponent in Super Bowl experience was 38 times. Those teams are 16 and 22 in those 38 games. So again, out of the last 40 Super Bowls, there were 38 teams that had more Super Bowl experience, and they've only won 16 of those games.
Right, but that implies that, you know, I could have 20 guys with 1 Super Bowl appearance if you guys only have 10 people with 1 Super Bowl appearance, right? Like, it doesn't factor in years and games played, right?
I believe you're correct.
Because, obviously, you know, for the first 3, and it's not even what it was for the last one just a couple of years ago. I know there's, you know, only probably 15, 20 guys that were still on that team a couple of years ago. But I think, you know, it's for the Patriots, they have just as many Super Bowl appearances, which is 9, as the Falcons have playoff wins. Now, I know that goes back quite a ways, but I think just operationally, organizationally, having that much experience, not necessarily every player on the roster having that many appearances, but Brady, you know, the quarterback, the most important position in sports, this is going to be his 7th trip. The same thing for the coach. It's going to be his 7th trip. So I think the coach and the quarterback having that massive experience advantage, I think that's huge over the Falcons, who are just getting there for the first time, most of them. So I think that's going to be a big factor.
You might be right. We'll have to tweet out that link.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a poll, because it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if the Falcons get down 10 points, you know, is Matty Ice going to shit the bed and, you know, kind of panic and maybe force some things where he shouldn't have? Whereas Brady, he's come back from being down in pretty much all of those games. I know all of those Super Bowl titles, even the ones they lost, were decided by less than a touchdown. So he's been there. He's dealt with that pressure. I wouldn't be surprised if they do get down and then they come back and just kind of overtake them.
Well, just a couple of Super Bowls off of recent memory. Green Bay going for back-to-back titles in Super Bowl 32 over Denver. That experience didn't matter. New England upset the greatest show on turf in 2002. The Giants over the Patriots during that undefeated season. And then even the Saints over the Colts when Peyton was trying to get his 2nd.
Yeah, and I get that. I just think it's like a wider margin of experience, because obviously it's not that many more players that have that much more experience, but I just think the number of years. I mean, 7 appearances for Brady to none for Matt Ryan.
Well, Kyle, you'll like this. Biggest Super Bowl experience gap was when the 92 Cowboys had 35 fewer players with Super Bowl experience when they played the Bills. They won 52-17.
Well, I guess that, you know, solidifies the argument that it doesn't matter, because when you lose 4 in a fucking row, so, you know. I mean, I'm a really bad. I can't consider myself an expert on this topic, considering I've never seen any team I like even make. Well, no team I ever like has won a title, but I haven't seen the Bills since I started following them even make the playoffs. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of topics that are going to come up this week, and, you know, again, that's one of the good things about having that 2-week break is, you know, we are able to film this podcast before the game actually starts. So obviously, I think the number one thing it's the number one offense in the Falcons versus the number one defense in the Patriots, and obviously that's scoring defense. So people have said, is it legit? Is it not? Whatever. The point is, the Falcons are scoring a shit ton of points, and the Pats are giving up like 15 points per game heading into the playoffs. So what do you guys think? What do you think's going to crack first?
I'm glad to have the number one D this time around. When the Patriots had the number one offense in 2007, that didn't work out so well. I think a lot of the times you get to the Super Bowl and these great offenses can evaporate. But these defenses, they're for real. Now, some of those great offenses, the 2001 Rams, the Pats in 07, the Broncos in 13, but these Ds usually come to play. Baltimore 2000, Pats 01, Tampa Bay 02, Pittsburgh 05, Seattle 13, Denver last year. I'll take the number one defense on my side.
Yeah, I totally agree, because anytime people talk about how the Falcons have the number one defense, I say, like you just said, see 2007. Because I think one of the biggest factors is, you have the number one offense in the league. A lot of times those offenses are built on rhythm and timing and all that. Then you get to the Super Bowl, halftime's twice as long, pregame's twice as long, more commercial breaks. So it's hard to get in that rhythm. Yeah, it's hard to get in that rhythm.
Pregame show's like 6 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the story of Brady in one of his first couple Super Bowls. Had so much time in his hands, he didn't know what the fuck to do. So he was just taking a nap before the game. Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing. The Falcons do have the number one offense. That is correct. Almost 34 points a game. Pats were third, almost 28. Defense, on the other hand, you're right. Pats allowed 15.6 a game. That was number one. Falcons were 27. 25.5 points a game. So I would say the Falcons' advantage with offense is slight, but the Pats' advantage with defense is huge.
No, that's a good point, because even last week when Green Bay lost, everyone was talking about, I can't believe this upset. How many, what they're giving up. Green Bay was 30th in defense going into that. That was just a matter of time for them to give up a shit ton of points.
Ticking time bomb.
Yeah. So, like you said, if you were listening to the sports radio or anything around here for the last 6 months, Pats defense sucks. They haven't played anyone. They haven't beaten anyone, even though they're in the goddamn Super Bowl with the number one defense in the league. So I'll be interested to see that. But like you said, I definitely would rather have the number one D rather than the number one O, especially if our offense is pretty friggin' good. And that kind of leads me to my next point. So obviously, living in Boston, it's Pats all day and night. It's the number one team in town. Atlanta, I don't know. There's been a lot of talk about it being a crappy sports town. I've never been there. I don't really see a lot of Falcons fans. What do you guys think?
They've lost 2 hockey teams.
Yeah, I was going to say lost 2 hockey. I've been to Atlanta once. I don't know. I sat in traffic for a very long time.
I've been there once, and it's a different type of city. At 5 o'clock and on the weekends, it's dead. And the Braves, they're moving out of town. They're moving to the suburbs.
Yes, I did see Turner Field when I was driving through. Right on the highway, but...
Heard Turner Field's in the hood.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Hey, how about Bartolo Colon? He started the same year as Turner Field. Dude outlasted a ballpark.
Yeah, Bartolo.
But yeah, I got a college friend who lives down in Atlanta now. He went to school in Boston with me, and he's pretending to be a little conflicted about this Super Bowl, and I don't buy it.
Yeah, I mean, from everything I've heard, it's like, I think Atlanta is a big transplant city, which probably doesn't really help. A lot of people move down there, whereas, a lot of people in Boston are born here and they stay here and just, it kind of...
And it's in the South, a big college football area. The Georgia Bulldogs probably drop better than the Falcons. The joke back in the day was, if you stole a car with Falcons tickets on the seat, you took the car and you left the Falcons tickets.
No, that's a good point, because it's like the exact opposite up here, obviously. The closest thing you have to a football team is Boston College, where, Matt Ryan came from. But that's been a dog shit program forever.
Yeah, it's been some tough times up in the hills, or the heights, I should say.
Yeah, I think Matt Ryan's the only time they were ever good at least since Flutie. It's the only time I ever really watched them closely.
Yeah, it was 2007 when the Red Sox were running to that World Series. The Pats were undefeated. BC was ranked as high as number 2 that season.
I remember that.
I think they probably went on to win the Meineke Car Care Bowl or something. Wasn't the Orange Bowl, I know that.
Yeah, they've They've been known to be in some shit bowls. But yeah, so Atlanta, I don't see it. I don't see the passion. Even when you're watching the games, it's just like a bunch of guys in jeans with a jersey that you could tell they bought the day before. I think just playing in Atlanta as a soft team, playing in a dome, that's been the knock on dome teams forever. They're just soft. Like, you can say what you want, and obviously they're going to be playing in a dome for the Super Bowl, which, obviously favors them. But I just think you get hit in your mouth, it's definitely, a little bit softer than any team that's been playing in the New England the whole time.
Well, we've had 50 Super Bowls. How many dome teams have won? The 99 Rams, the Colts in 06, and the Saints in 09, I think. So it's definitely a legitimate criticism. And that's why Bill will have the team practice outside, even during December and January. Talk about ball control.
Now, you said you have one Falcons friend?
Yeah, he married a girl down in Atlanta. I don't even think she's a Falcons fan, though. I think she's a Georgia Bulldogs fan.
Gross. I don't know about you, Kyle. I know one Falcons fan, and it's like a kid we met from college who is from Connecticut who, threw the dart at the board and landed on Atlanta.
Yeah, I can't say I know really anybody. I mean, I don't know too many people from Atlanta to begin with, but there's always the random fan. Like, I know a bunch of random Saints fans. I know a bunch of random Cowboys fans, obviously. I like to consider my second team the LA Rams Mafia.
Hey, I'll tell you what about Atlanta, though. A lot of displaced Braves fans, thanks to TBS showing their games all over the country for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
The Superstation.
All those 205 and 235 starts.
Turner time, baby.
Turner time.
Now, this is going to be the drive for 5, obviously, one for the thumb. And if the Pats win this, it cements it. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are the GOATs. There's literally no argument. I think the fourth Super Bowl, I think that should have been the final answer to the who's the greatest. But I think if you get 5, there's not even an argument. Even, the asshole trolls on ESPN aren't going to be able to, say they're not the greatest.
I think with 5, the conversation then goes beyond football into all of sports in North America.
Yeah, I mean, we start talking about when are we renaming the trophies.
Now, I found out something very interesting today. Belichick has 6 rings, right? 4 with New England, 2 as D coordinator of the Giants.
Yep.
Only one man has 7. Neil Dallin. 5 with the 49ers, staff and player personnel, and 2 with Denver, the Elway championships. Similar role.
Was he the janitor?
He was the GM after Elway retired. I don't know if he was responsible for bringing in Jake the Snake, but front office guy for 20 years, 7 rings.
I switched out the urinal cakes on all those teams, so I have 7.
But yes, you're making a better version of my point, which is Belichick will have 7 if he wins this, 5 as a coach, 2 as a D coordinator. I think that speaks a little bit louder than 7 working various jobs in the front office.
Well, you know what I saw that was, I thought, a great stat. So obviously he had those 2 as a defensive coordinator with the Giants back with Bill Parcells. You know how many Super Bowls Bill Parcells won after Belichick left?
I believe that's 0.
So Belichick's got the sauce.
And Brady, he's got 4. Only one player has 5 rings, and that's Charles Haley, DN linebacker. Won a couple with San Francisco, and then he was 3 with the Troy Aikman Cowboys in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a ride-along ring.
Now, again, I think if the Patriots win here, this goes beyond football. Because the only people with more than 5 or 6, we're talking the Yankees before 1962 and the Bill Russell Celtics.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where I know they've been talking a lot about it on like Felger and Maz recently, where it's like even the Celtics had, 10 and 11 years? But again, that's playing in a league with half as many teams. The Patriots, if they get 5 in, 15 years, right? 5 and 15 years with 10 AFC title appearances, and that's in a league with 30 teams, 32 teams, and a salary cap, free agency. Like, there's so many things going against them at this point. It's so much harder to win consistently, and I think that's what puts them over the top.
Well, don't forget about
different eras.
Don't forget about the guy from Space Jam. He has 6.
Absolutely. But I want to point out one thing. The only other guy with more than 6 NBA rings who to not play for the Celtics, Robert Horry with 7. So we're going to have to put him in the discussion, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was beating like the, what was it? The Hartford Blackhawks or whatever, some bullshit NBA team that doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly. Russell had 11 and 13 years, but it was a different era.
The Buffalo Clippers or whatever they were before they were in LA.
Yeah.
And even Gretzky in the NHL in the 80s, that was a much different league 30 years ago. So I think Jordan, when we talk about the greatest of all time, I still might give it to him. 6 and 8 years.
Well, that's why, again, going back to free agency, I mean, you talk about like the greatest dynasties in NFL history. Obviously, one of the bigger ones was the Steelers, the Steel Curtain. But that was before free agency. All right, we have 6 Hall of Famers. You guys are here for life. You're not going anywhere, and you're going to make minimum wage. Shut up. Now with the Pats, he's dealing away second-round picks and Jamie Collins. He's telling Chandler Jones to get lost because he's eating weed brown. He's freaking out in Foxborough, taking his shirt off. There's not really a lot of guys making big-time money. He's doing it with smaller pieces, making the system work, and then bringing out the talented guys. Like, look at Chris Hogan last week. Chris Hogan and Edelman set the playoff record for most yards between 2 receivers in a game. And those are guys that, I don't know if you heard Keyshawn Johnson the other day saying they wouldn't make an NFL roster on another team. It's like, dude, are you shitting me? He just had 200 yards receiving in a game. Shut up.
Well, the other thing with Brady, this would be his 5th ring. That would tie him with Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan. I think it puts him past Bryant because Bryant was a sidekick the first half of his career.
Yeah, he had Shaq. I mean, really, if you go back and you look at, obviously, 01 and 03, 04 are great teams, 13 is a great team, but he never really had great talent. The only time he had amazing talent was 07, and he threw 50 touchdowns, but they lost. You look at the offense, even if he wins this year, I think it's even more impressive because 2013, it was the first year Gronk was really healthy, and that was kind of the one thing everyone always said, or at least that's what I always said was, if Gronk gets hurt, they're screwed. But if he's healthy throughout the playoffs and the Super Bowl, they get a chance. He's uncoverable. This year, they lose Gronk again, and thank God they got Bennett and Hogan and all that, but they just got Bennett for, what was it, a 5th-round pick? He was a throwaway player on a last-place team. So to get 5 with this supporting cast of, castoffs, it's even more impressive.
It just really goes to show that Brady and Belichick are the best at their respective positions, coach and athlete.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think Belichick's going to slap his balls on the table and show him who's boss.
I mean, as the outsider of the group, where I have no stake in this game for, the 20th fucking year in a row. Last time, I used to hate the man, referring to Brady and Belichick. I've come around a lot on Brady. It's the only reason I hate Brady is because he's just better than you. Belichick, I can understand not liking him just because he's not the most
a surly dick.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole in appearance. He might not be in real life. I don't think he actually is. He's just all business, all football. But yeah, if they win again next Sunday, there's no argument. If you have an argument against it, you're just being a troll at that point.
And we're also forgetting to talk about, the number one reason why this would be the best title to win. Because Brady got fucking suspended for a quarter of the season. He comes back, should have won the MVP. If not, he's the second guy, the best quarterback in the league. And if they go on to win the Super Bowl after, 2 years of all that bullshit, and then the commissioner is going to hand him the trophy, I think he has to go to this game, right?
You would think, yes.
So, I mean, that's even more satisfying for Patriots fans to get number 5 as like middle finger to the fucking league. That's why I always used to love Al Davis and the Raiders, just telling the league to go fuck themselves.
Oh, I can't play in Los Angeles? That's nice. No, thank you. I'll be there.
All right, so we got another week for that. So we'll be tweeting some stuff out. We're writing some articles, kind of hype up the game. So let's see, what else can we talk about? Moving on. I know, Rick, you and we both had a couple posts this week on the classic video game NBA Jam. I know you want to talk on that a little bit, Rick.
We got to have a tournament edition tournament. Now, there are a couple different things you can do. You can do a best of 3, best of 5, best of 7, whatever you want. But really, I think a single elimination tournament has to happen. Just the insanity at the end of every game. If we have 8 guys in 7 games, maybe 6 of them end at the buzzer. Just insane artificial intelligence in that game. If you're down by 12, don't worry. You're going to hit 5 shots in a row.
You just run around, you wait for the 8-point shot to open up, and then you drain the buzzer beater to win when you're down by 7.
It is the greatest sports video game of all time. I can't think of a game that I've had more fun playing. I mean, I love Madden, but a game of Madden is a half hour. NBA Jam is 8 minutes in and out.
Yeah, plus Madden, that can get away from you quick if you don't know what you're doing. NBA Jam, you just pick up the sticks, you're ready to go.
You can take a 5-year break, pick it back up, and you're immediately swearing at the television set.
Well, I remember we used to, get a 12-pack and sit in the basement and play like Thanksgiving best of 7 series.
And it would be 3-3, then we get to game 7 and it ends at the buzzer.
Yeah, no, we definitely have to set up the first annual 300s NBA Jam tournament this spring. I know we have the one Sega with the tournament edition. We're going to have to pick up at least another one or borrow one from somebody, line up a few teams.
Well, they're making those Segas again.
I don't think it's on the Sega system, right? I think Kyle has it.
Yeah,
It's not, but I think you can plug in the cartridge.
Yes, you can. That's actually true. So you just need the cartridge.
And I would probably need to buy that because my Sega, it's not the controller, it's the port. Player 2, the turbo button doesn't work, which means you can't shake people down for a steal.
Play the advantage, sir.
Now, we got to make a rule. Can you play with Indiana and Reggie Miller?
That's
almost unfair.
That's only who I play with. I once scored 70 points with Reggie Miller, shooting nothing but 3-pointers. That's why I know they remade. I did a post about it recently. They ported the game and remade it with the 2017 rosters, and it's like obviously Golden State's probably the best team. I don't care how good LeBron is. You are a decoy to drive to the hole and dish to Kevin Love, and I'm going to shoot threes from the corner. There is no reason to have any kind of post-game in NBA Jam. So you got a good 3-point shooter, lights out.
Well, that's funny. That's what my strategy is. The first half, I drive to the hole for 2 every single time, and then you get to halftime, you see where you're at.
Yeah, I don't bother going past the 3-point line. I just jack up threes, and then I wait for the 8-point shots.
Well, if we pull our money together on eBay, I'm looking up right now, there's, for $2,500, an NBA Jam arcade video game totally refurbished with new monitor ports like new. I would 100% buy that right now.
Well, what if
I don't want to stand.
We could charge some money if we got enough people. Winner gets the NBA Jam arcade system.
Now, it's funny. There's an arcade bar around me out here, and NBA Jam is there. It's as fun as ever.
You can get it, the Genesis one on eBay for $3.48.
Oh, I'm going to buy 6. All right, so here's what we're
But
going to do.
we need the unit. That's what we need. We need the Genesis as much as the cartridge.
So here's what we're
And
going to
by
do.
the way, I got a buddy with the old SNES version. That version is garbage.
Yeah, Sega only. Sega only. We're not.
I need the Guitar Bear vamp music during the game.
Yeah. No, we need the Sega version, tournament edition. We're going to line up a few TVs.
Hotspots for $9.
We'll line up a few TVs. We'll get a to-be-determined amount of people. We'll set up a bracket, and to the winner go the spoils. I think we got to put that together soon.
I'll make the logo.
All right. All right, what else we got to talk about? I think we're tight on time, so I think we'll talk about one more thing. And Rick, I know you were big on it. I'm sure you guys saw it on the internets the last few days. The Big Mac sauce giveaway at McDonald's.
Oh, yes.
That was very rare. I mean, what did they give away, like 10,000 bottles?
They've got 10,000 bottles coast to coast. And I was looking into it, and they didn't announce the locations until the night before, the morning of. And actually, I've got a food blogger friend who tipped me off. One of the locations was right next to my work here in Minnesota, so I was able to get a bottle. And I was not the craziest person there, so that's good.
So I'm looking it up, because I looked it up that day, too, to see if there's any in Boston. And the closest one is in Springfield, so I didn't go. But
You thought about taking a personal day.
I'm looking it up on eBay right now just to see what they're going for. And let me just run through this, just how much a single bottle of Big Mac sauce is going for on eBay. $82, $99, $51, $124. Buy it now, $1,000.
Well, do you want to know something really gross? When they gave it to me, it was cold. It needs to be refrigerated. So you're essentially ordering salad dressing that needs to be refrigerated through the mail.
Get a hot fucking bottle of Big Mac sauce.
These goddamn these are mouth breathers. Just go to McDonald's and ask for Big Mac sauce. You can get it for free.
Now, I thought about selling mine on eBay, but I wrote it in the article. With fees and deductions from eBay and shipping and all that nonsense, it's not worth $60 or $40, whatever is left over.
No, and you'll get
I'd rather just
salmonella.
drink that bottle.
Get a real bad eBay rating when you give someone salmonella. You gotta do it for the love of the game.
But yeah, I got one of the 10,000 bottles, and I've opened it up. It tastes like Big Mac sauce, but I agree with you, Kyle. You didn't get the bottle. They sell it at like 30,000 locations nationwide. You just don't get it in a bottle, you get it in a cup.
I was going to say, what if you were to bring the bottle back when you're empty and just go, I'd like a refill, please?
I think that's a great idea.
So there you go. Be like, I was one of, it's like the Willy Wonka golden ticket, but you just get free Mac sauce for the rest of your life.
I mean, Rick, when you were on your way there, did a creepy man under a bridge pull you aside and talk to you about it?
Slugworth?
Were you at your grandparents' house, sleeping in bed with them? Really odd.
Was it the ghost of
Why are all four grandparents in one bed?
Because
And where is Charlie's dad?
Willy
They never
Wonka.
mention it.
Willy Wonka is a sneaky incestual film.
It is a little creepy looking back on it. No, but I went to that McDonald's 3 times. I went there at 7:30 before work. They said, no, come back at lunch. Lunch starts at 10:30. Went back at 10:30. They said, no, event starts at 1. So I am just rolling off my whole day at work to get salad dressing. But you know what? I got it. And it is more impressive than that Angels boot mug I got in an Angels game for their Oktoberfest a few years ago, because this is not one of 10,000 in this city. It's 1 of 10,000 coast to coast, baby.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, even just having that bottle will be a funny piece of memorabilia. I'm sure someone will sell that on eBay for $50.
It's better than the Hefewheaties beer I got in Fulton in Minneapolis. That beer, you want to talk about a beer that is just perfect for pouring down the drain.
Well, I know they didn't have the Big Mac sauce around here, but since we are in the Fenway studio, I saw coming, I think, Tuesday, they're going to have a Big Mac vending machine out in Kenmore Square. Now, I don't know what the fuck that means, but that sounds like hepatitis C waiting to happen.
Wait, what is this?
So, McDonald's, the one in Kenmore Square,
Yeah.
they're putting a vending machine out on Tuesday to, hype up the Grand Mac and all the other bullshit sandwiches they're making. And you literally can go there, instead of going to the restaurant 2 fucking feet away and order a Big Mac from a vending machine like it's a Coke.
Well, I'll have to stop by.
I'll tell you what, I don't like using the ATMs for cash in Kenmore Square when I'm buying tickets from a scalper. So the thought of buying food from an ATM in Kenmore Square is Salmonella City or whatever, listeria, food poisoning, Norwalk virus.
Mad cow disease. There's going to be a bunch of dead homeless people in Kenmore Square because they were getting Big Macs at the fucking vending machine.
I'd hate to be the janitor cleaning the Chipotle bathroom in Kenmore Square. Sorry, Qdoba.
Oh, God. All right. Is there anything else we want to touch on? I'm sure we'll have some more stuff, throughout the week, but any closing remarks?
Nothing really, except for, I think on Tuesday, I know where I'll be heading to get my dinner. Vending machine.
And I've got one hot take.
All right, what's that?
If the Pats win the Super Bowl, you'll be the first team to go to the Trump White House, assuming he doesn't get impeached, correct?
Yeah, I mean, he's still got what is that, like a couple months? So, go.
This is my hot take. Brady doesn't go.
Ooh.
Brady likes to lay low. He likes to avoid the heat. The Patriots win the Super Bowl. Brady's not going to the White House. Just a shot in the dark.
He doesn't want the picture to live on in infamy. But, yeah, as far as a hot take, I'm taking Patriots 30-24. I think it's going to be close. I think Pats pull away in the second half.
I'm going to go 31-21 Pats.
If I had to pick, just to be the pain in the ass, I'd like the Falcons to win. But at the same time, if you're a betting man and you're outside of New England, my advice to all of you is to bet the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. Because if they win, you make money. If they lose, the Pats lost.
Well, and one last thing. Out of all the Pats Super Bowls, this one reminds me the most of that Eagles Super Bowl. I lived on a floor at college with a girl from Philadelphia, and I think I made her cry when I just said, look, there is no way that Donovan McNabb is going to make it happen. Forget about it. Get ready for the parade. And so this is the closest I feel to that.
Yeah, hopefully we're not all eating crow next week. But all right, so I think that's going to do it for episode 3 of the 300s podcast. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Ciao.